What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft, specifically an auction draft. As you can see, we're going on Yahoo. For now, we've done the majority of our auction drafts on ESPN, but we're going to go ahead, switch things up, and see the difference here in terms of pricing, etc. This will be a 12-team half-point PPR setup. And before we get into it, a quick reminder for everyone interested. Go ahead and get yourself a copy of the 2020 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. It's got everything you could possibly want at a great price, from top 150 overall player rankings to individual player bios, tiers, etc., along with general fantasy advice. Also, check us out online at alldaypigskin.com for some exclusive content. All the details are in the description. But for now, let's get into this draft because it is underway. The first nomination has been made. The San Francisco defense for $4. Look, we knew we weren't going to spend money here on a defense early on, so no issues there. But we want to go ahead and establish what type of strategy will we use. Because like I mentioned before, we've done a couple of ESPN auction drafts there. We went a little bit aggressive, where we landed both Zeke and an Alvin Kamara. And then we also went a little bit more so conservative, where we waited a little bit until we got in on the action. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to follow that aggressive strategy yet again in order to see the type of different rosters you can go ahead and expect to come out with when you put together an aggressive strategy from platform to platform. Because we've said it before, expect there to be a difference. Not every single platform prices their guys the same way. And it's our turn to nominate someone. And like we've always said with these auction drafts, go ahead, nominate someone expensive that you don't want. Right now, I'm going to go ahead, nominate a Nick Chubb, hoping that he fetches that $49 price tag, right around $50, and someone else spends up on him. He doesn't bring as much value in my eyes in a PPR format as opposed to if this was standard scoring. Now, for the most part here, we've got a full lobby, and I'm hoping that we're going to see some pretty accurate bids. Now, we'll see how high this will get. I'm projecting that it'll get to that $40 range because, after all, and just like that, we have beaten that range. I was worried that we'd go ahead and potentially get to, a little bit of a good value for Chubb here, and I might potentially have to get in on this. But no, the computer took care of that with a $54 bid, I believe. Yep, that was the winning bid for Nick Chubb. And now this is where it gets interesting, because we said we want to go ahead and be aggressive with our strategy. And Christian McCaffrey is up for nomination. $74 is the winning bid. How much do we want to go ahead and spend on McCaffrey? That's the question. This is going to get probably close to $80. We'll see. It's at 76 right now. I know I can still be aggressive and land a Saquon Barkley and a Zeke or a Kamara. So for me right now, I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. I know Christian McCaffrey is the consensus #1 guy, but there's some other great prospects out there as well that will allow us to be just as aggressive as you've seen us be before. So no worries there. And I think Saquon Barkley could potentially be one of those guys where we can get him at a better value than what Christian McCaffrey went for, $77. But we'll see. Maybe I'm incorrect in that assumption. I'm going to go ahead, bid $63 right now. Bid gets up to 67. So let's see how high this thing can go. I'm all right paying $70 for Saquon Barkley. I think that's normal. That's a decent price. Getting him for $68. Unfortunately, we were close to it, but it doesn't quite hit. As you can see, there's two values, projected and average cost. I'm going to go up to 70 one more time. Let's see what happens here if we're going to get another up bid on our original $70. And it looks like we're potentially going to get, yes, we do. We get Saquon Barkley for $70. And as you can see, immediately here, maybe it's not evident to you guys, but I kind of remember in the back of my head what the prices were for those top tier running backs from ESPN to Yahoo, just because we've done so many auction drafts on those two platforms. And Saquon Barkley here, these top 4 tiered running backs, they go on average for a higher price. So again, I'll point this out. Just because you can put together one roster with one specific strategy on one platform, for example, ESPN, don't expect that you can put that exact same team together, because the pricings will be off from platform to platform. As you can see here, Barkley, $70. He's on the expensive side of it, but that's what comes with the territory of an elite player. Now, we've got Barkley. How aggressive do we want to be? We're going to go ahead and try and land in Kamara or in Ezekiel Elliott as well. We'll see what it'll cost us. I think it'll probably be in the mid 60s. Potentially we can get Zeke for a little bit cheaper. I think Kamara probably has got that higher ceiling to some extent. So we'll see what happens with Zeke. And then afterwards, I'm going to even try to add to that by getting a wide receiver one. And then we're really going to be behind the 8 ball here. But hey, that's part of the fun. And this is going to be part of the exercise. We go ultra aggressive and then see what happens afterwards, the type of roster that we can put together in that situation and how we can rebound from spending the majority of our funds very quickly, very early on. And then we're going to go ahead and grade that roster so you guys can go ahead and get the most out of this type of strategy. As you can see, Lamar Jackson going for $32, $33. And again, I've got no interest in bidding that much for a quarterback. I'll go ahead and get, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Brees, the Cam Newtons, the Staffords, the Rodgers later on. And that's what we'll have to do considering how much money we're going to spend on running back and wide receiver. So just be prepared for that. And again, here, I like the early nominations for these very expensive quarterbacks. It makes other people have to spend their money. And it's going to be around that $30 range, which, it could be a little bit more for some other positions, but $30 is still a lot of money. And boy, this Patrick Mahomes bid reaches $40. So again, it's getting to that expensive range. I bet that that'll be the winning bid. And as you can see here, talk about aggressive strategy. There's someone that's already down to $55. And let's look at their team: Patrick Mahomes, Chris Godwin, and Michael Thomas. And yes, that's an example of being, again, ultra aggressive, but they don't have arguably the most important position in all of fantasy football covered, the running back position. So it's tough for me to go ahead and give a super high grade to that team. There's going to be a major drop off in their running back talent afterwards. So on top of that, they also spent way too much money for a quarterback. So I got to deduct points there as well. But look, Ezekiel Elliott is up for nomination, and the bid has gotten to $56. I'm going to go ahead and get in on this. Like I said, I think it'll probably end up being in the low 60s, the winning bid. I'm going to get up to 60. Probably won't win it with that, but if we get Barkley and Zeke, which again, as you can see, this has gotten up to $62. Let's see if there's any more action here, and it looks like there will be. $63. I'll do a speculative bid here at 64. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. If it goes up to 65, I'm going to sit this one out. But let's see, 3, 2, 1. Let's add Ezekiel Elliott to the team. And I told you guys, we're going ahead and being aggressive. Saquon and Ezekiel Elliott, $70, $64. We mean business here, folks. We've got two of the top 4 running backs. I'll be curious to see how much Kamara goes for, to see if, we could have gotten him for a bit of a better deal or not. Right now, the price is $61. I was going to say I'd be shocked if it stays at 61, 63. So I think we made the right choice. There you go. It's up to 64. So if we would have wanted Kamara, we would have had to pay a little bit more, not substantially, but a little bit more nonetheless. But let's go ahead and point something out right now. Our max bid remaining is $54, which is a little bit tough. And we're going to try and still get one more big name player, preferably at the wide receiver position. But boy, oh boy, afterwards, we're going to have to stay quiet and just wait for the draft to come to us. So there's going to be a lot of action early on, as aggressive strategies and auction drafts tend to be. But afterwards, get ready to sit out a bunch of bids. And the best thing you can do in that case is just continue to nominate the most expensive players so that other individuals can continue to deplenish their own funds. And you've got some, some nominations here of a Robbie Gould, of a Darren Waller. That's all nice and dandy, but if it were me, again, I'd be nominating the Cooks, the Adams, the Joe Mixons, the Tyreek Hills, so that we can get more of these people on even playing fields. And let's see how we stack up with how much money everyone else has, because right now we're actually in last place. Actually, no, I want to correct myself. There is someone with $55 and there's someone with $58. We're in third to last place in terms of available funds. We're at $66, and there's multiple people still left at $200. So this is going to be interesting. This will be fun. I really need to get those other individuals that are at that $200 price to go ahead and start spending money. Travis Kelce is this latest nomination here for $44. That's a pretty high value, and I'm all right with him going for that price. Not interested. And right now it's our turn to nominate someone. So let's go ahead and nominate a super high ceiling type of player that I think will fetch, between $50 and $60. That is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'll be shocked if this value doesn't get up to $50. And there you go, $52. And maybe that'll be the winning bid. But I was going to say, be prepared in your own personal auction drafts for this bid to get close to $60. I think that's the type of hype that Edwards-Helaire will have this season on that Kansas City offense. $55 right now, all things considered, decent value, I got to say, because he's got that top 5 running back upside. So I'm happy we got somebody else to spend up. Slowly but surely, those people at $200 are going ahead and spending as well. Dalvin Cook is this latest nomination. Let's go ahead and quickly see some of these draft results to see how much these players have gone for. So Darren Waller went for $10. Not a bad value, all things considered. Travis Kelce went for $44. Clyde Edwards for $55. Dalvin Cook for $60. So again, another very expensive running back. But I've said it before, we've got Dalvin Cook as a tier 1 running back this year. And that means you're probably going to have to get in that $60 range. It makes me feel good for getting Zeke at $64 because, arguably more durable and pretty consistent as well. I love that offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. Only paid $4 more than for Dalvin Cook. And beforehand, Alvin Kamara went for $65. So all things considered, we got Zeke and we got Barkley, I think, for relatively good prices. Now, let's see. If we want to go ahead and still get a top-notch wide receiver, the question is which one? Devante Adams just went for $54. I'm not going to go ahead and handicap myself that much. I'm going to go ahead and still go for a wide receiver one in my eyes, but it'll be someone that, maybe isn't valued as highly. Someone like an Adam Thielen, someone like a Mike Evans, maybe an Odell or a Kenny Gallaudet. If there's very good values for one of these guys that still fall in that category, but we didn't mention, we'll get in on the bidding process, but our chances to land them will probably be a bit slimmer. Now Joe Mixon is up for nomination, and this bid will probably, again, get close to $50 right now at $49. There you go. It reaches that 50 mark. All things considered, not a bad value for Joe Mixon at $50, $51 right now. I think his ceiling can very much so improve if he's used more so as a pass catcher. He's shown, a knack for doing so, but I think just with the presence of Giovanni Bernard, the Bengals haven't fully committed to Mixon in that aspect. But I think Mixon will have an improvement from last season, and it's tough not to because of the expected, quarterback consistency that Joe Burrow will bring for that team. And this bid has gotten all the way up to $56. So again, goes on the higher end of the bid. And something I also want to point out here is that with previous auction drafts that we've done on ESPN, rarely, would the bidding get over that average cost, maybe by $1 or $2. But in Yahoo here, you're seeing pretty consistently, I would say for pretty much every single player that's been nominated, with the exception of maybe 2, 3, 4 players, that winning bid be about $1, 2, 3, 4 more expensive than the projected value or the average cost, whichever one is higher. Tyreek Hill just went for $51. Again, not a bad value there, but I'm looking for a wide receiver one in the $40 range. If we can go ahead and do that, I would be very happy. It could be a DeAndre Hopkins. It could be a Julio Jones. We'll see. And I mean, the projected value for Hopkins is $43, but I think it's going to go higher than that. Right now, it's already at 41. I'll go ahead and get in on 42, but I don't think that'll be the winning bid. I'd be shocked if it is, honestly. Yeah, see, it goes up to $43 now, $44. So, potentially a good deal, but I like the upside for a Julio Jones or a Mike Evans a little bit more so. So I'm going to go ahead and sit out DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, because we've got $66 and it just got up to 46. So we'd have to spend up $47. I think we can go ahead and potentially get Julio Jones for right around that same exact price. And like I said, Julio Jones in my eyes has a higher ceiling on a, better offense. It'll be comparable. I think the Cardinals will also be a pretty potent team, but Julio Jones is someone that I really like this season as my number 2 overall wide receiver across all formats. You see Josh Jacobs being nominated here. He's a running back that I think is incredibly undervalued in Yahoo, even more so considering this is a half-point PPR format. And I'm almost tempted to go ahead and just put a bid for $46, but I think it's going to get up to the 50s, and we've already got a running back situation taken care of. And yeah, like we said, it's already up to $50. So you can see the public here that's involved in this auction draft, they at least know the value of these players. And with the hype that Jacobs will be more so involved in the passing attack, it makes sense that this value will continue to rise for Jacobs. And I think he'll probably be comfortably in that $50 range in auction drafts. And if you can get him for less than $50, that's probably a pretty good deal. So yeah, he goes for $52. And that's, arguably $8 more than his average cost of $43.50. So that's, again, going $9 more expensive. Julio Jones here. Let's go ahead and get in on the bidding process. I'm not 100% confident that we'll land Julio, but let's see. If it gets up to $46, $47, I'll stay in it. And if we can get him for $40, which I was going to say, there's no chance that'll happen. I'll be extremely excited, but yeah, I think this will probably reach the 50s as well. Yeah, it's $48 right now. Part of me wants to bid $49, but I still see, like I said before, I see a Mike Evans, I see an Adam Thielen. I think both those guys have very high ceilings. And right now to bid $50 when I know that a Thielen and an Evans will go for at least $10 less, I really like that upside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that instead. And hell, maybe if there's a really good value on a running back like a Drake or an Austin Eckler, I might just do that. And we just might stack up on 3 running backs from the get-go that have huge upside. And I'll just for the hell of it, I'll go ahead and get in on this bidding process. Like I said, right now, probably our player range is in the mid 40s, what we'd like to go ahead and spend next. We're at $41 right now. Let's go ahead and get up to 44. I think that's still good value for Kenyon Drake. And we might win this actually by accident a little bit. But no, it's going up to $46. And yeah, I'll let this one go because I also see an Austin Eckler who's valued at $38, and this bid just skyrocketed to $55. That is insane. Yeah, I'm not touching that one because that's about $10 more expensive than the projected value, and it is outside of our range. I'll be interested to see how much Austin Eckler goes for. Probably it's not going to be $38. It'll probably be $45, $46, because people, again, realize the value that's there for this type of player at the most important position, obviously the running back position. George Kittle's up for nomination, and immediately this bid gets up to $41. And with there being, a couple of computers here, they're going to go ahead and automatically get that bid a little bit higher. So we can not waste all this time. And I'm all right with that because at the end of the day, the overbidding won't be by all that much, and it builds in some of that variability for someone that overpays for one of these high-end players. And right now, you're seeing this guy nominate another defense, so a bit of a strategy here just to nominate defenses, kickers maybe more so. Personally, I don't really like this strategy just because, okay, if nobody else bids on the New England defense, I actually thought that he also ended up with the San Francisco defense. So I guess, I stand corrected. But you can unintentionally wind up with two defenses on your team. It can happen, but it can be rare, but it can happen. So for that reason, to me, if it's possible, which in Yahoo drafts it is, for you to not even draft a kicker or a defense, I'm not wasting my money on that. I can go ahead and stream at those positions, zero problem, every single week. Honestly, that's probably some of the most important advice I can give you guys. Just for kickers and defenses, those are the positions you want to look at to stream off of waivers. It's probably, something that the more experienced fantasy player will be able to tell you right away, but I feel like not enough people just take advantage of that. And it's a very simple tip, and why, honestly, in a lot of leagues, you see defenses being, with good matchups, I should add to that, being some of the hottest waiver wire additions because they can make a huge difference. A defense that puts up 5 points, sure, it can be the San Francisco defense, but if they're playing the Baltimore Ravens versus a middle of the pack defense that's playing, Washington or the New York Jets, well, I'll go ahead and take my chances there with that one for the higher ceiling of, up to 10, 15, 20 fantasy points. But now we've got a Miles Sanders nomination. Getting back to the big board here, let's go over some of these picks, some of these costs. Terry McLaurin went for $23. Allen Robinson, I believe, was our nomination. Again, a wide receiver that I'm not all that interested in. He goes for $39. So again, getting other people to spend their money. And I can officially say that nobody else has $200 left, which is very nice. I realize there's someone at 197, so I guess they're practically at 200, and there's someone at 190, but sooner or later, they will also go ahead and use up those funds. And right now, quietly, we've gone ahead and maybe moved into the top 6 in terms of available funds left. There's someone with 55, 43, 43, 3 people there, someone with 12, so not quite in the top 6, but I'm interested to see what this person with $12 left, the type of team that they have. So again, they've definitely gone very aggressive. Christian McCaffrey, Kamara, and DeAndre Hopkins. If we went ahead and spend up that type of money on a Hopkins, we'd also be in that boat, except that we would have $20 left over. So pretty comparable strategy if you want to compare these two rosters so far. We're going to go ahead and add a wide receiver, a top-end wide receiver as well. And I just want to point out that Miles Sanders here is going for $66. Talk about another player where the hype is real. And the winning bid just went for $20 more than the projected value. And I get it. People are all in on Miles Sanders. The volume will increase this season. But man, Miles Sanders just went for more money than Ezekiel Elliott and Alvin Kamara, which to me is wild. Almost went for as much money as a Saquon Barkley. So I'm glad I didn't get in that bidding process and stayed out of it. Someone spending $66. Wow, I still can't get my mind wrapped around that for Miles Sanders. And there we go. Here's Austin Eckler. This might be the moment of truth. How close does this get to that $38 range? And can we go ahead and potentially take advantage of this? $37, $39. It'll get to 40. Yeah. I told you guys, this value will get to the 40s. It'll probably get to $48. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Yeah, $43, $44. Let's see how much higher it goes. $44, not a bad value, actually. But I'm going to stick to the wide receiver position. Yeah, I'm going to stay true to that. I told you guys pretty much from the get-go that what I would prefer to do is go 2 high-end running backs and then still get a wide receiver 1 so that we don't have that big of a drop-off at the wide receiver position. So as tempting as Austin Eckler is, I'm going to go ahead and try and land an Adam Thielen or a Mike Evans. And then afterwards, the name of the game is get good value picks. And we're to try and do that as much as we can. So let's go ahead and enjoy one of these bidding processes here while we can. Now, Aaron Jones is the next nomination. I think he'll probably fetch right around $45 if I had to guess. Right now it's $44. So yeah, probably right around that $45 range. He's someone that I'm staying away from. Aaron Jones, I think there will be major regression there with the kind of running back by committee that's emerging in Green Bay, and with how inconsistent Aaron Jones was last year. I realized he had some blow-up games, and they were great, but he also had some dud games, and they came more often than you would have liked to see. He was so touchdown dependent. In fact, he was tied for the running back lead in combined touchdowns. And that makes me a little bit nervous because that's a category that sees major decrease, major regression here. I'm going to quickly get in on this bid for Kenny Gallaudet. You know, $34 for Kenny Gallaudet, that's not bad value. And I think we might actually win this bid. Yeah. I still have Kenny Gallaudet as a top 10 wide receiver, so I'm not mad about this selection. You know, I didn't expect to land Gallaudet, but hey, for $34, I'll go ahead and take it. Honestly, yeah, that's not bad. He falls in that Mike Evans, Adam Thielen range. I'll be interested to see how much those guys go for. But sometimes when these type of situations happen, I think you just have to take advantage of a value that you identify and say, well, if I get this, even though it's not, you know, my top 2 players, if it's right outside it, I'll still be very happy because the value makes up for that. And I think that will be the case because sometimes the problem with auction drafts is you can tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and wait for that next player. It's all right. There's another player. There's another opportunity. I just don't want to overpay here. And inadvertently, you can go ahead and either just miss out on that overall general top tier of player possibilities, or you can go ahead and inadvertently pass up on a good deal that you thought you should stay out of for a preferred player later on. I see it a bunch, so that's why I want to point that out. It's a typical mentality that people have in auction drafts. I can just go ahead and wait a little bit later for another player, but a lot of times just take advantage of the good deal if it presents itself. Odell Beckham just went for, let's see, I think $35 was the winning bid. Yeah, $35. Kenny Gallaudet, me getting him for $34. I'll go ahead and take that. Now here, this is the moment of truth. How much will Adam Thielen go for? Did we make the right choice with Kenny Gallaudet? Yep, the bid is up to $34. So yes, Thielen has a higher ceiling in PPR formats. I 100% recognize that. But the question again will be, how much more expensive will Thielen end up being? Now it's up to $37. So like $38. So we're $4 cheaper for, again, another player with top 10 upside. So I'll go ahead and take it. If we wanted to have that winning bid, keep in mind we would have had to get to $39. So that's a $5 difference. So I'm happy with it. We sat out on the Thielen. We got a good deal, but this is it. Mike Evans is the guy that I was very much so curious about. How high will this bid get? It's up to $32. I'll probably be kicking myself if the winning bid is $32. And I really hope someone upbids this. Yeah, okay, $33. So $34, there you go. So it'll be more expensive than Kenny Gallaudet, $35. Okay, so I think all things considered, we landed Kenny Gallaudet at a cheaper price than both Mike Evans and Adam Thielen. He was in that tier for me as far as wide receiver ones, so I'm happy with how this worked out. We have got a wide receiver 1. We have got 2 top 4 running backs. Folks, this is as aggressive as it can get. Now the question becomes is how can we maneuver the rest of this draft? And buckle in because some time is going to pass by until we can go ahead and add to this roster. I'll go ahead and try and, nominate some breakout players right now just for the sake of potentially landing one of them and filling out our roster. So this isn't a 3-hour video. But again, I will mention usually I don't do that. But since this is a mock draft, I'll make an exception so that we can go ahead and hopefully fill out the remainder of our roster a little bit more quickly. We'll see. I'll go ahead and scour this list for wide receivers, for some tight ends that are a good value. And again, let's look at our max bid, which is now $21. And boy, that doesn't make me feel good. $21. We can go ahead and try and add a wide receiver, which we definitely should do. Potentially another high-end running back at that flex spot. And those are probably my two right now priorities if I want to spend another high amount of money. James Conner is someone that I could potentially get in on, but I think his value will probably get closer to that projected dollar amount of $36 as opposed to the average price of $16.50. Cam Newton was just nominated, and I actually think he's good value. I'll just go ahead and get in for $2. Let's see. If I win Cam Newton for $2, I won't be mad at that, but of course, that probably won't be the case. Let's go ahead and quickly look at the quarterbacks and what some of their values are. I can get a Daniel Jones for somewhere around that same price, and Aaron Rodgers potentially. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I think Cam Newton is definitely someone that I'm going to be targeting in a lot of these formats, especially as a later round cheap quarterback option, because I think he has a very high floor with his rushing ability, and I think he's actually got some better weapons than people realize with Edelman, with Harry, with Sanu, with those running backs there as well. And Alexander Madison being nominated here, a handcuff. Let's see if the person that nominated him also had Dalvin Cook. I'd be interested to see. No, they do not, and that's a bit peculiar because sure, you go ahead and go for upside, and maybe this is the year to do it with the expected amount of top-end players that will be on the IR list. But I don't want to pay $7 for a backup player that I have to rely on the primary running back to get injured for when I still have to construct a big majority of my roster. So here I'm going to go ahead and nominate Melvin Gordon. Again, just the next maybe most expensive player that I don't want to bid on. You obviously, I guess James Conner is a little bit more expensive than him, but I'd like to go ahead and have a chance, even if it's an outside one, at landing Conner. Whereas with Gordon, I'm all right passing on him, and I'll do this process of nominating someone that I don't want. This will probably be the last time. Then I'll start to go ahead and nominate some less expensive players that could potentially be breakouts, because right now, again, looking at the budget for these guys, $55, $12, $32 for us, $43. How many people have over $100 left? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 people have over $100 left. We're not doing too bad, all things considered. And right now, when this gets up to probably 37, I'm kind of interested to see how this person that wins James Conner, what their roster looks like. So they've got Sanders, they've got Conner, Thielen, Odell, Cam Newton. And I like this squad, but I would say this is probably more so a balance type of strategy. And when you consider how much they paid for Miles Sanders, that makes me a little bit nervous. So let's again go and track some of these nominations. I'll quickly look at these draft results to see how much these players have gone for. So kind of after the last tracking that we did of Mike Evans for $37, Juju went for $35, Cam for $3, Alexander Madison for $8, Melvin Gordon for $38, and then James Conner for $37. So yeah, I think that's probably the range where you're going to start to see these players go for in the $30 range, mid-30s, and we're already over our budget. So yeah, we're gonna have to sit this one out yet again. And I'm looking at potential, let's go ahead and, like we said before, look at potential sleepers at the wide receiver position that we can go ahead and queue up and potentially nominate later on, because that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to rely on those sleepers to construct the rest of our team. And right now, potentially someone like a Keenan Allen that people are sleeping on because there's no more Phillip Rivers. I'll go ahead and add him to our queue. Let's go ahead and continue to scroll down. Someone like a Julian Edelman, most definitely his value hasn't really been updated. I would love to add Julian Edelman to our team. I think he's a very solid wide receiver too, especially in PPR formats. Let's see who else that can be a nice addition. I think a Jamison Crowder in PPR formats. He won't be a top 15 or top 20 guy, but I think he'll be a good, decent value. So let's add him. I really like John Brown opposite Stefan Diggs. I think he can actually outscore Diggs. That's how high I am on John Brown. AJ Green, not a bad guy to take a chance on. Same with Tyler Boyd. We'll see what type of situation we're working at that point in time. Golden Tate, not a bad name. Continuing to scroll down, looking at some of these players. Maybe Mecole Hardman. I think I'd go ahead and take a chance on him. Definitely. Yep. But let's get back to our big board right now. Leonard Fournette just got nominated. And again, unfortunately, we are sitting out the majority of these nominations and these biddings. But it is what it is. We're going to just go ahead and get the next best players available. And again, I stress that's what you have to do when you commit to the aggressive strategy. You just go ahead, buckle in, and then try to get value and try not to overpay. But hey, on the flip side, at least you can tell that we won't have that much money left over if you want to look at it that way, which is also another important aspect. But again, the problem with that is you don't want to find yourself in that situation too quickly. So, yeah, I think now you're going to see this speed up a little bit. And the reason I say that is because we've gotten some more computers in here. And unfortunately, that's what happens in some of these auction drafts. But I still think we're maintaining the validity of the bidding and nomination process. We're not seeing any super cheap or super expensive nominations. DJ Moore is that next wide receiver that is nominated, going for $33, or at least at a minimum. And let's again see how much money these other players have. So we're 18, 12, 32, but obviously they have more players on their roster, so with good reason. 43, 10, but we've still got a couple stubborn people with over $100 left. And those are the guys that I'm concerned about. But guess what? Now there are, let's look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people with less money than us. That means we are right smack dab in the middle of how much money we have left to work with. So I think we're actually in a good spot. We can still potentially get some good value picks. Our max bid at this point in time would be $21. And it's, that's not bad. I think we can still work with that. Calvin Ridley just got nominated for $8. I'd love to add Calvin Ridley, but I think there's no way that we're going to be able to. Yeah, the computer pretty much assured that by nominating or by bidding $21 for him. Yeah, so, and for what it's worth, I think that that's a good value for Calvin Ridley. I'd go ahead and pay $22 for him. And this squad here, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce, these are all big name players. And, I think I would also consider this an aggressive strategy in getting a high upside wide receiver in Calvin Ridley. I love the way that this team has approached this draft. But again, I think with the running backs here, I like our combination more so. We've got Barkley, we've got Zeke, and then Kenny Gallaudet, Calvin Ridley. Not sure how you guys feel about those two players, but I do believe that Gallaudet does probably have still a little bit of a higher ceiling than Ridley, even though I love Ridley and I think he will be a breakout and is a great value. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of see per the standard or the expected quote unquote wide receiver one projections, go and nominate by that basis and go ahead and bid by that basis, so that if I tell you guys, yeah, I've got 2 RB1s and 1 wide receiver 1, and you guys see a guy like a Calvin Ridley, and so you don't think to yourself, well, he's not really in that wide receiver 1 category. So, how true to the strategy of being ultra aggressive did you stay? That's why we went with someone like a Kenny Gallaudet, so that that really isn't the case, so that we really are landing those quote unquote RB1s, wide receiver 1s, and trying to do the best with the remainder of our funds afterwards. Mark Ingram here is probably going to go for $16. It is our turn to go ahead and bid on a player. So let's see how this works out. I'm going to go ahead and look at our queue right now. And I'm going to go ahead and nominate a Keenan Allen. Let's go ahead and nominate him for $1. And if this gets up to $18 due to a computer, all right, I'll go ahead and have no problem not getting Keenan Allen for that much. Yeah, it's gotten up to $13. So yeah, I'm just not going to go ahead and pay that much money for Keenan Allen. I think we can go ahead and get Julian Edelman for cheaper. And honestly, I prefer Julian Edelman with Cam Newton there. So that's all right. And this is kind of the reason why I stay away from nominating some breakouts at early points of the draft. And I would still say this is actually an early point in the draft, because right now we're in this position where we care about how much money we spend, and we don't have all that much flexibility, while there's still a decent amount of people with more funds than us, more buying power. So that puts them in the driver's seat. So if they want to go ahead and, just bid $1 more than our max bid for one of these guys that they also happen to see as a breakout, then we're out of luck. And that's the trouble that you face at this point in time. Cooper Kupp just went for, let's see how much money, $17. I think that's a very good value for Cooper Kupp. I want to point that out. Amari Cooper went for $30, not a bad value there either. And again, let's have a quick check on the funds. And we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people with less money than us. And happy to report that there are no more teams with $100 left. That makes me feel a little bit better. We can go ahead and potentially start to get some of these value picks. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to nominate high-end, high-value players so that more of these guys can go ahead and get to our level, so that we can add depth. We can go ahead and add some upside later on. And let's see here. Mark Andrews just went for $13. Again, not a bad value pick, all things considered. Dak Prescott will probably go for $12, maybe 13, 14. I have zero problems sitting this one out. I'll go ahead and land another quarterback afterwards for a better value that I think has higher upside. Maybe a Kyler Murray, maybe your Matt Ryan. All those guys I think would fall in that category. And now let's see. I'm trying to think what potential running backs that we might like to add here for depth would be. David Montgomery was going to be one of them. Kareem Hunt is going to be another one. A James White in a PPR format isn't a bad choice. I'll go ahead and just throw a couple dollars in Montgomery. If I get him at $14, I think that's a great price. $15 right now is the winning bid. I'm conflicted whether to continue to bid here. I think ultimately one of these guys that, that's controlling the bidding right now is probably going to get him $17. I'll just go ahead and do it. Probably throwing caution to the wind. If this gets up to $18, then I'm going to go ahead and sit it out. Yeah, okay. So I'm all right. We're going to sit it out. I think we can go ahead and add another still very high caliber wide receiver. I like Montgomery, but I've got Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott. So I can go ahead and address the running back position later with, like I said, look at David Johnson still on the board. In a PPR format, he's very valuable. Let's just go ahead and wait until he's nominated or until we have a chance to go ahead and nominate him. And I think you guys might be surprised at the value that we get for a David Johnson. Raheem Mostert just got nominated. I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. I like the upside for Hunt more so. I like the upside for David Johnson more so. Honestly, the 49ers backfield is one that I'm avoiding altogether. So yeah, let's again see. This will get close to probably getting, after a couple more nominations, everyone on that same footing as far as funds are concerned. There's honestly just really 2-3 more people that we have to worry about. This guy here with $96, this person with $73, and then these two folks with $59 and $50. I'm hoping that one of them just goes ahead and spends $20 on one of these best available players. T.Y. Hilton just got nominated. I think that's a decent pick that we can also go ahead and bid on at a good value. I'll just go ahead and throw another dollar there. I think T.Y. Hilton with Phillip Rivers there, and now T.Y. Hilton removed off of that injury report with that hamstring. Getting him for $8, I'd be very happy with that. Let's see if we can go ahead and do it. Yeah, we do. I think that's a very good value for T.Y. Hilton. To me, he has wide receiver 1 upside. We only paid $1 more than the average cost. And we've got Kenny Gallaudet, we've got T.Y. Hilton. I like the way that this worked out. Yeah, I'm definitely not mad at that. Spending less than $10 for T.Y. Hilton, where to me, he's probably in that category of, of guys that are going to go a Courtland Sutton, that'll probably go for $15. But man, I say that, but Tyler Lockett now probably go for $8 again. Honestly, we could go ahead and bid on this as well. But now I'm starting to think, man, how much are some of these other wide receivers going to go for? And this is exactly what I mean. This is the point where we've gotten where you're going to get great value on some of these still very high upside type of wide receivers. That's why if I'm going aggressive, I think there's much better value later on some of these wide receivers. There's just more depth at that position. So if you go aggressive at the running back position and not really at the wide receiver position. Yeah, and I think Tyler Lockett went for less than $10. Yeah, he went for $9. Another great value pick there. Yeah, so I got T.Y. Hilton as my wide receiver too. I am not mad at that at all. And folks, I got to tell you, I'm liking how this thing is playing out right now. I think all these 4 names that we've gotten, even though they've been at drastically different prices, are all solid starters. And to me, Gallaudet has upside for a wide receiver 1. Hilton has an upside for a wide receiver 1. Now, obviously, probably a low-end wide receiver 1. And then Barkley and Zeke, well, we don't really have to say anything about them. They could both be the best running back overall in fantasy football any given year. So I love this foursome that we have at this point in time. We can go ahead and look at the tight end position. I'm going to go ahead and pass on Tyler Higbee. If you guys really think that the Rams are going to run more 2 tight end sets, well, it seems like people have all of a sudden just forgotten about Gerald Everett, but he's still going to be a factor in this offense. Higbee exploded last season, but let's not forget that it was at a point in time where Everett was hurt, so Higbee just naturally had a lot more opportunities. So I'm not as high on Higbee as some other people might be. I'll be really interested to see how much Robert Woods and David Johnson go for. If we can get one of those guys for, $10 on our roster, even though our max bid at this point in time is $14, I'll be very happy with that because we'll have the core of our roster constructed, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. And along the way, having managed our funds pretty well. Courtland Sutton I'm not going to let Courtland Sutton go for less than $5. If I get Courtland Sutton for $4, that's insane value. There's no way this happens. No way. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. We just landed Courtland Sutton for $4. That is insane. That is bananas. That is banana land. I'm in shock. Courtland Sutton is another high-end, potential wide receiver 1. He had a great season last year. Now, obviously, there's some risk associated with him because we don't know what will happen with Drew Lock, but getting him for $4 is a great value. That's practically nothing. And how much did that really decrease our max bid by? Only, I think, by $1 or $2. So, man, I love that last selection. We're going to inadvertently end up getting depth on this ultra aggressive roster, which is insane. This might be the best auction draft roster that we have put together up until now, even though we've spent by far the most money, the quickest. But yeah, I love this roster at this point in time. This is an A roster in my mind. I don't say that often, but right now, this is an A roster in my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and nominate a player here in Russell Wilson that I think someone will go ahead and spend some money on because the quarterbacks haven't quite gone ahead and flown off the board. So maybe this gets to, $10 if we're lucky. I'm not going to go ahead and pay that much for a quarterback. Okay, $4. I'm hoping it gets to that $10 mark. Maybe it won't, but even if it doesn't, I'm still not going to pay $5 for Russell Wilson. I was just more so curious to see if there would be a bidding war on him at this point in time because there's still a couple of guys, those couple teams that we mentioned with around, on average, probably around $65 left to see if one of those guys gets him. Okay, so he goes for $6. I would have liked to see him fetch a bigger amount. But again, this is that great example. If you put yourself at this point in time in your auction draft to control the bidding process and have 50, $60 more than the majority of the field, you're going to get great value on these players, as was the case with Sutton, with T.Y. Hilton, with Russell Wilson. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bid on David Johnson for $4. There's no way we should get David Johnson for this amount of money. Absolutely zero way. I'll even bid $6. I'll go as high up as $8 for David Johnson, which is incredible for me to say. That's just laughable because, he should be going in the 20s. Okay, so gets up to $9. Oh man, I'm so tempted to go ahead and bid on David Johnson again. Okay, thank God. We've got an over our budget of $11. So we'll sit this one out. And again, this is that perfect example. You have got a bidding war between two guys that have a lot of money left compared to the field, $73 and $59. And yeah, we've got no chance in this bidding. It'll probably go for $16. There you go. But the player that ended up just drafting David Johnson, they got a good value for him. So kudos to you, David Johnson. Great value. Let's see what I'd be interested to see what Kareem Hunt goes for. We can potentially try to add him for some depth. I wouldn't be mad at trying to do that. Kyler Murray here, he's definitely got some upside. People love Murray as far as a breakout candidate this year. $4. I'll go ahead and just wait and draft my standard Matt Ryan or Drew Brees or Tom Brady. Just load up on the NFC South. I love that approach this season at the quarterback position. That's going to be an extremely high-scoring division. But yeah, right now, I just want to highlight that we still have the majority of the guys that we put on our queue at the wide receiver position still available. So there's still great depth at wide receiver that we can go ahead and add. But we'll see. We'll see how long those guys last. Right now, our budget is $20. And I'll probably continue this mock draft until we get to that under $10 mark to see, what our roster looks like at that point in time. It might not be as complete as I would like at that point in time, but I still think that here you see the takeaway message of what we want to do as far as going ultra aggressive and then along the way managing our budget and hitting on good value players and what you can expect if you employ this type of strategy. But Deshaun Watson just gets nominated here for $3. That's the winning bid, at least. And maybe you'll see a little bit of a run on quarterbacks at this point in time. And again, let's go ahead and quickly check how much money we have left compared to some of these other guys. I love Robert Woods. I bet you he's going to fetch $20 from one of these three teams, the 32, the 57, the 59, or the $80. But yeah, other than that, we are actually in fifth place. Yeah, we are right after those those teams. So there's no way we're going to get Robert Woods. No chance in hell. But I'm going to keep bidding it like we could. Yeah, $7. I'll go ahead and go up to $9. I'll go as high as my max bid of $11 here for Robert Woods. And I still bet you that won't be enough. Yeah, okay, see, someone went for $11, $12. So this is going to be a situation pretty much exactly the same as it was for David Johnson. But now the curious thing is both these guys pretty much have the same exact amount of money. So how comfortable will they be in terms of their max bids? And look, the winning bid is going to be $13 for Robert Woods. That is insane. That is great value for Robert Woods for a player that a lot of people think will outperform Cooper Kupp. So, that would put him in the wide receiver 1 category. Okay, so Stefan Diggs gets nominated here. We talked about Diggs, but more so trying to say that we actually think that John Brown is the wide receiver to own of that offense. But honestly, getting him for $2, $3 or whatever this winning bid will be is still great value. So again, even though we might not like some of these players, we say it every single year. At some point, the value is too good to pass up. And, that was the case here with the winning bids for Stefan Diggs. I don't love the situation in Denver offensively, but getting Courtland Sutton for $4, I'll go ahead and take that every single day of the week, DJ Shark here, potentially someone we can also bid on. Let's go ahead and throw $1 at it. If I can get DJ Shark for $3-4, yeah, absolutely. Why not? But basically, at this point in time, you're going to see these other players that we've continued to mention. They're going to control the bidding process. And that's why early on, I tried to go ahead and from the beginning, nominate players that were more expensive to go ahead and bleed the competition quicker. And I'm just curious to see what their respective roster looks like at this point in time. So this guy, he's got Murray, Julio, Lockett, Jacobs, Le'Veon, David Montgomery, so maybe a little bit more conservative, but going ultra aggressive on the other side of the spectrum, I like our roster a lot more. So here, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, Waller, David Johnson, Todd Gurley. This isn't a bad team, just stacking up on running backs, but do you really have a top-end running back other than an Eckler? I'm very nervous about Aaron Jones, and Gurley and David Johnson are probably low-end RB1s. Then let's look at what we have here with this team: Lamar, Woods, Diggs, Drake, Leonard Fournette, Ertz, DJ Shark. Again, this is probably an example of a balanced draft strategy if I had to go ahead and label it as something. And then this person with $80 still left over, Tyreek, Mike Evans. So, very nice combination of wide receivers there, but they're running backs. That's where it's problematic. Mark Ingram, DeAndre Swift, and they've got CeeDee Lamb as a flex. Now, obviously, they'll go ahead and add some other players, so CeeDee Lamb won't be their starter on this roster. But again, I love the way that our roster has turned out. Right now, it has got an A grade in my eyes. And it'll be our turn to nominate someone in, I believe, after 4 more bids. So we can go ahead and try and nominate a Kareem Hunt or something like that. DK Metcalf just went for $13. So again, even if we wanted to, we couldn't get involved in that process. I still think that some of these people have way too much money for us to go ahead and have a chance at getting Kareem Hunt, unfortunately. One of these guys is down to $25, which is nice to see. Another one down to $32. But the guys that are at $57 and $67, those are the problematic pieces at this point in time. Cam Akers will go here for about $3. That's all right. I'm not interested in him at all with that offensive line and with the situation with the running backs for the Rams. So I'm passing on that rookie. Harrison Butker now here nominated. You're going to start to see kickers go. All right, that's totally fine. Someone can go ahead and spend $3 on Butker. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and just stream at that position. That's totally fine. We're not going to actually spend meaningful money at this point in time on Harrison Butker when $3 could be the difference between landing a Devante Parker or Kareem Hunt and not landing them. And that's much more valuable than getting a kicker. Just, again, trying to stress that. Now, let's see. We've got two more nominations to go until it's our turn to nominate someone. Devante Parker, he was actually going to be someone that I see, well, let's go ahead and try and throw some money at him and potentially land him. If I get him for $5, that's not bad at all, but it's not going to happen. This guy might as well just bid $11 right now so that I can't get Devante Parker. But he wants to also get a good deal on a high-end wide receiver with some upside. Yeah, so it's up to $8 for Devante Parker. Let's see how much higher this bid will go for Parker. So it'll probably be the winning bid. Yeah, $8. But I think we can get Julian Edelman for cheaper, folks. Let's see. Let's see what happens with Julian Edelman. He might be the next player I nominate. And if we miss out on him, oh well, it is what it is. Or I might just go ahead and nominate a quarterback here so we can kind of, fill out that starting part of our roster so we can get it a better overall grade more accurately. Yeah, I'll probably just nominate Matt Ryan or Drew Brees here and see what the winning bid is for them. Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, you better believe I'm not going to bid on him here. The winning bid's probably going to be that $1 bid that was the starting bid to begin with. Yeah, I'm a little bit. Let's go ahead and see how much money these guys have left, and if they have a quarterback. So $32, they already have a quarterback. $57, they don't have a quarterback. $17, they do. $64, they do. It might be a little bit risky to go quarterback here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to nominate Matt Ryan. If this bid gets more than $5, I'm not going to go ahead and try and get Matt Ryan. But right now, $1, and it's exactly what I was fearing. The guy that has $57 left and doesn't have a quarterback gets in on this bidding. I'll go up to $3, but they'll probably counter at $4, and it'll be one of those situations, and it won't be worth it at the end. 2, 1. Actually, okay, we're gonna get Matt Ryan for $3. I think, all things considered, That is good value. I mean, yeah, I'll go ahead and take that every single day. Getting Matt Ryan for $3, I expected someone to try and at least upbid me once, and that was literally exactly what happened. We went ahead, bid on Matt Ryan one more time, and that was the winning bid. I love that. Let's go ahead and see if we can land Kareem Hunt here. If we go ahead and land Kareem Hunt, that would be sensational for some depth. There's no way I'm going to get him for $3. I keep saying that. Yeah. And finally, one of these times, it's actually going to be true. Our max bid at this point in time is $9. You know what? Let's go all out. Let's go ahead, reach that $9 amount and see if we can go ahead and land Kareem Hunt. I like his floor as a PPR running back. I honestly do. Let's go ahead here. $8. If we get Kareem Hunt, yeah, okay. Well, it's over our budget. That other individual has gone to $9. But hey, now we've got a starting quarterback at least. We've got a flex. If we go ahead and add a tight end as well, we're looking good. We've got our starting roster taken care of. So I won't make this video all that much longer, because again, it's already pretty long to begin with, and that's going to be the case with these auction drafts, especially when you spend early a lot and then have to wait to construct the majority of your roster afterwards. But guys, I said this roster was an A before, and I'm sticking to it. We added Matt Ryan at a good value. We've got two, excellent running backs, arguably the best running backs in football with Barkley and Zeke. We've got, I think, Kenny Gallaudet, a legit wide receiver one, and then a couple of guys in T.Y. Hilton and Cortland Sutton that are either low-end wide receiver ones or high-end wide receiver twos. So I love that and the value that we got them for. So I love the way that this has gone. So let's go ahead and just get either one more bench player. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draft one more player, and then we're going to go ahead and conclude this thing. And let's see, we got $17 to play with. Our max bid is $9. The majority of people have a max bid of $1, as you can see. So we're actually in a pretty decent spot. There's only 4 people that can go ahead and technically outbid us. So how many of those people have a tight end at this point in time? This person doesn't. They do. And this person does not. So if we went ahead and nominated someone like an Evan Ingram, who I'm very high on this year, we could potentially get him. A lot of upside in my eyes for Evan Ingram. If we can get him for, $4, $5, $6, even $7, to me that's a win. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Marquis Brown just got nominated. Okay, let's see. He's someone that I'm not all that high on in PPR formats, more so of a standard wide receiver, but he definitely has the upside. Don't get me wrong there, but no, I'd still prefer Julian Edelman. And Julian Edelman is slowly at this point in time made his way up on the best available remaining group of players. Yeah, he's still a little bit behind though. That's crazy because I would have him higher than a Michael Gallup. I would have him higher probably than a Tyler Boyd as well. Yeah. So again, just it goes to show you, oh, there we go. Here's the Julian Edelman selection. Just because it was nominated by a player that had money, I know we're not going to get Julian Edelman now. I'll go ahead and get in this, but we might as well just, again, there's our budget at $9. And if we get him at $9, well, kudos to us, but I don't think that'll be the case. Oh, it actually might be the case. Okay, well, there you go. Just like that, we pretty much blow the remainder of our budget. We are down to $1, but I got the next highest ranked player on my team or on my board in Julian Edelman. I love the value there, and it gives us a good point to wrap this thing up at. Right now, our budget is $8. We've still got 8 more roster spots to fill. So as you can see, our max bid is $1. That makes sense. But if this was the real thing here, and if we wanted to go ahead and be more patient, I wouldn't have bid all that much money on Julian Edelman. That's the only, remark that I want to make at this point in time. But other than that, guys, I love the way this roster turned out. Tight end, sure, it might be a bit of a problem. But again, if we were going ahead and making this a bit of a longer video, I wouldn't have paid as much money for a Julian Edelman. I would have taken my chances in an Evan Ingram or one of those other tight ends, given myself a little bit more money to work with, spend $3, $4 on that, and then still be able to add depth. That isn't what happened here, but I still think we get a good picture of what our roster could look like. We even added a bench player. Guys, I'm giving this roster, I'll go ahead and just because how much money I spent on Julian Edelman, give this roster an A-. But let me know what you guys think. Let me hear it in the comment section. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Do you like the way that this ultra aggressive strategy turned out? What are your guys' experience when doing so, along with any other fantasy questions you guys might have? And as another quick reminder, if you're interested, go ahead and get yourself a copy of the 2020 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. Check us out online at alldaypigskin.com. All the details in the description. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.